Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good wherever you are. JP here with Learn Breakdance for WordPress. And it's a cold morning here in my hometown in South Africa. I'm here in the south. In the room with me, I have the peanut gallery, some of them. Yes, this is a house full of animals. 2 cats on the table in front of me, sleeping under the lamp to get away from the cold, and 3 dogs lying here around the heater and on the floor. So I'm not alone in the early morning hours. We have load shedding in South Africa. And sorry, I'm deviating, but that means that our power gets cut up to 6 hours a day at this very moment. So I really have to jam things in when the power does come on, make the recordings, power goes off, power comes back, upload the recordings. Yeah, not the most favorable situation on earth ever. We are continuing in our mission to understand what Breakdance is all about. Quick note, Breakdance is now at Alpha 2. So version 1 Alpha 2, which means do not use it on a live website. And I kind of always think that is logical, but then when I see people on the forum like, hey, I'm going to design my new website. No, man. No. You have to wait for the official release. We're in Alpha at this moment, so take it easy. You go to your account, download it, make sure you delete the previous one first if it's not automatic update, and then you upload. Do not try to upload it at the same time as while the version 1 of Alpha is still active. It's not major changes yet, but there are performance improvements and a few bugs that have been fixed. In this tutorial, we're going to create a gallery section. I would say images are the bread and butter of making your website stand out, and good images, by the way, as well. And that's why it's important to have this gallery on your website. And I need to say this here. I'm not overreacting when I tell you I'm getting goosebumps, because when we talk about gallery plugins and gallery elements, most of them are meh, really. You always have an idea that you want to do this or do that. And then when you get a gallery element, you are really disheartened when you see what it can do. But when I'm going to show you in this tutorial what this gallery element can do from Oxygen, you're going to understand this should be the standard requirement for all gallery plugins across board. And the nicest thing about this gallery plugin is you're going to do so little. You're going to upload photos and you're going to be super happy. And it's got a secret second function. Well, it's not secret. There's a second way you can have gallery groups, and I'll quickly show you that. So just to recap, we made this header section at the beginning, then we did this info section, and then we have this gallery section that we'll be creating. And we're bringing in those 2 new elements. The first one, which is the gallery element, and then this one, which is the dual heading. Is it dual heading? I forgot the name of this element, but we'll get into that soon. The idea of these Let's Do Breakdance Alpha videos is just to explore Breakdance and see what it can do. Once the official release comes out, I will go back to that no-coder beginner tutorials to help those who've never worked with builders or who are new to Breakdance to build out a website with 0 coding, and that includes CSS. So if you are a CSS user and you hope to find some tips and tricks on this channel, you're going to be disappointed, but you can maybe still stick around. There are other things, and as new things come out, it's always a good place to come and check in and have a look. Let's jump in over into Bricks. And here is my section. I'm going to delete it because I'm fairly confident I can recreate it. One thing I noticed in the previous video was this gradient animation. And in the video, it sometimes became pretty bothersome. So what I want to do is deactivate it first. Go to the section, background, and we go to gradient animation. And I'll simply select the X here to clear that feature. And then we can leave it like that. It's not that obvious to me while I'm working, but while I was editing the video, I saw it and it became at times really distracting. So I thought before we continue, let's go and get rid of that. Control Command S. Let's jump into it. First things first, we need a new section. Select the last section on your page, go to Add, and click at the top on section, that brings in the section. Here you can click the plus in the middle, and I'll be bringing in a heading, but not this one. Scroll down under blocks, and you'll find there are a number of heading elements here, dual heading and animated heading. We'll click dual heading. Under this, I want to add a little bit of a tagline, so I'll click on add again, and for this, I'll bring in a normal heading. And then under that, I will bring in the gallery. So I'll click on add again, scroll down, and the gallery is over here. And you will see that when you click on the gallery element, it's going to bring in 8 images that is provided for you by Breakdance. And we'll remove them later with our own images. Let's start at the top, select our dual heading. And when I often tell you, oh, very much like Elementor, is when you see this in the sidebar. This is something that we got used to in Elementor. And if you've never used Elementor, because I saw some people say, I don't see any correlation with Elementor. To me, this is a little bit reminiscent of what Elementor does by bringing in these items. Doesn't mean Elementor was the first, it's just that they made it popular with millions and millions of installations. Though it says dual heading, you're going to find out that you can make it many, many more headings if you wanted to. You have your items over here. Click on the first one and it says this is, and let's say we're going to change the tag with come find your, and then close it, go to the second one, your way. And that's kind of the idea behind the dual heading. But there's a few more things that you can do here. If you wanted to, you can add more words. So that's where I say the dual heading title. Interesting. Maybe it's like a multi-title heading, something like that. Come find your way today. And then you can add more words or tomorrow. Okay, now it's getting ridiculous. This is what you can do to build out that title. And then you have the control over an animation for the rest of those words separately. And I'll show you how to do that. Let's go just back to come find your way. And you will see that you have the option to activate the secondary style. The secondary style is that yellow highlighter that we see across the word. So once I activate this on come find your way, you're going to have the exact same animation, and we'll set that under the design. So ultimately you don't want that on all the words. You probably want it only on one word. Use it discreetly. I'm always very cautious when it comes to animations. Let's also make it realistic and delete these other two. Click here on delete, delete, and also center align everything in the section. Select the section by clicking on it, then go to layout, and then next to align, click the one in the middle to put everything in the center. Go back to dual heading by clicking on it, and now we're going to style it out under the design area or styling area. To recap, size refers to the width of the box, this container. We don't need to work with that here. Both is going to give you options to change the color for both, their alignment, as well as the font family. Let's go and put in the Josephine Sans, right? And put it on 40. Oh, 40 is too small, right? So let's go for 60. I want to reduce a little bit the space between the letters. You see, it looks a little bit like a stretched out concertina. To do that, you go to Advanced, Letter Spacing, and the slider does not drag to the left. So to achieve this, you have to type in something like -1, and then you can use the up and down keys on your keyboard to reduce the size. And you see, that just makes it a little bit more, I don't know what is the word, more condensed. Well, duh. So I have it there at -4. Come find your way. And you can also apply some effects there if you want to have stroke width, stroke color, or you want to have a mask for a fill. This case, I'm not going to mess around with that. That's what you can do for both. Here you have primary. So your primary, you can set different typography, different color, different size if you want. And then you can also annotate it with an effect. From the effects, you have their underline. You can choose box, circle, strike through. That's probably if you want to show something like a previous price and you want to show the price now. Crossed off. Crossed off. There we go. Bracket. And you'll notice that this type of effect for your primary heading is different to the secondary because it finishes here at the bottom with bracket. We don't have that yellow highlighter, so very different. I don't think using two effects in a heading is the way to go, but you could have a reason why you want to do that. There is no option to select none here, so if you want to remove it, click here on the remove option next to type. I understand. Annotate is where you're going to switch it off. By default, it's going to apply this underline option. You can change the color. Here's your duration, stroke width. I think, is that for the annotate? Let's see. Oh, yes. Okay. And then we have multi-line, Lilo multi-line. Okay, that line is too thick, so we cannot see the multi-line. Even there, I cannot really see the multi-line. Iterations. Probably means how many times? Iterations. RTL. I'm just going to activate it. RTL. Let me know what is RTL. I have no idea what RTL means here. Slips the mind completely. Close out, and then I will go to the effect and say no. I'll go to annotate and take it out. I just want simple plain text there. Same for secondary. Interestingly here, your annotate gives you that yellow by default, but when you go to effect, you're going to see it's the same. So strangely, we have exactly the same under effect, but the annotation is different. Let's close this, let's remove it and keep it to that. Interesting. Let me just switch on the primary annotate again. So it's like a default. You don't have that wipe like we have for the yellow. If you wanted to switch it and you wanted this guy to have the yellow highlighting, remember that's done here under the contents. Come find your way and you activate secondary style here, and then you can deactivate it for the last one. That's in a nutshell it. You still have spacing over here for your margin at the top. You can do the margin here. I'll simply go onto the canvas, hover outside the container and drag. But I don't want to do that because I want the bottom text, the bottom tagline to be as close as possible. Let's go to the next one, select it. This is just a subheading and I'll change it with some lorem ipsum text and then we'll custom style it, copy, select, Control V, and then go to styling, typography, color we'll leave. We go to font family instead of Joseph and Sons. And font size 16, weight 400, and go back to size and put it at 750 pixels. The reason I chose 750 pixels is because I remembered we put this one also on 750 pixels, so a little bit of consistency. Let's select it again, and now I'll add that space at the bottom by dragging and put it around 50. I almost got it at 50. Now let's work with this gallery. I love it. Select a gallery element, simply click on it on the canvas. In the sidebar, we see that we have content, that's where the images come, and we have styling, and then you have advanced over here. Let's start with the content. First, note that you have an option for single and multiple. I'll quickly touch on multiple later, but for now, let's focus on the single. Breakdance brings in these images, and there is no other way to get rid of all of them, apparently, except to delete them one by one. Yes, very strange. You would think that maybe they will be replaced when I bring in my other images. So when I select Add Media, and from my media library, I will select 8 images. So let's just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then choose. And you will see that these will be added on. They will not replace. To replace them, you have to actually go and delete them. Strange little feature. And we're back to the 8 images we had brought in. In this instance now, I'll simply jump over to styling first and go to layout, because this is where I really love the convenience of how they've done it. Everything is ready to rock and roll. I'll change my columns to 4, and then I can put it as a grid, masonry, and justified. But justified not working properly, it's adding this gray bar at the bottom. So it's not being justified. It's not only here in the back end, also on the front end, it brings in that gray bar. So let's put it back on grid. And the width here is again that size. It will constrain, as you can see, the box of the gallery. I'll just take that out. I'm very happy with the standard default. You can change the aspect ratio. Love it. Nicely done. Didn't need to go and request it. And I'm a big 1:1. Then you have a gap between the images. You can remove it completely. And then you have stacking feature again, something you're going to see everywhere where you work with multiple items. And you should get used to it by now. Once you activate it, let's say for phone portrait, this is where it will start stacking. Next, you have images. Whoa, so many features. You can have an opacity. You can see here for filters and opacity, you have hover effects. So if you want to add a hover for it, borders, shadow, hover animation, let's say slide left. As you hover over it, it will move like that. I'm very happy they thought of this from the get-go. You can play around with that. Captions, I'm not a big captions person. These images do not even have captions. So I will go to never. But if you leave it on always, you will see all the options that appear here, top, bottom, stretch. I would think that when you select never, these should disappear, but they don't. Lightbox next, also many features here, very nice. You have full control over the Lightbox design. I'm amazed by this because other page builders who are long in the tooth still don't give you the control over the Lightbox. They give you a standard Lightbox, and if you don't like it, you're stuck with it. But at least Breakdance is giving us control over the colors, even thumbnails on or off, animated thumbnails, autoplay. Nice feature. The Lightbox was thought out very well. Then spacing, you have again margin top and bottom, which we don't need to use here. Let me go back to images. I just want to add my layout. I want to add the gap back, so I'll clear this one out. Oh, this is columns, so let's put it back on 4. Where's the gap? Oh, the gap. Let's bring in a little bit there. Put it on 15. Save our work, Control Command S. And then let's go and view it on the front end. And I think what's important to understand here with this element is how little I did. Yes, I did super little. I brought in the images, I changed my column, and for the rest, I basically didn't do anything at all. So let's scroll down here and see what we have. And you can see on my tablet, my iPad, it is still in this format, but it's not stacked here. And the reason it's not stacked is because I played around with that option and then I removed the default. I can attest to it by default that it is stacked, but we'll go and fix that now. That's it. So let's have a look at the Lightbox again. We did that previously. I'll select it. You get the Lightbox. You can scroll through it. And if you had your captions, they will appear here as well. These images are small. They aren't big images. So when they're that small, it's because that's the original image. Let's have a look here. So this is going to be a swipe. So I have to use the swipe. Come on, Betty, swipe it. Okay, I can also select here at the bottom. Let's see what happens. So I wish when I get to this leaf that I could swipe it also, but no. Okay, there's my swipe working now. Yeah, and the same for my tablet. Where are we? Swipe, swipe, working nicely. And then you have at the top, let's see what we can do. You have a magnifier that you can use. You have full screen, allow Breakdance Alpha Local to access. Deny, I'm not going to go into that at this moment. Let's go back and let's just go and do the stacking. And my question is, okay, click on the background to exit. There we go. Jump back and vertical at phone portrait. Save. to the front, reload. And there you see your images are stacked. There are a few hidden gems here, which you really need to take notice of with this gallery element. It's just going to keep on surprising you. It's the element that doesn't stop giving. Go back and let's go to the content area and look at the images first. Under the link, or next to link, you'll see it's Lightbox, but you'll also see custom URL. And when you select this, you start laughing hysterically because you think, how do I add a custom URL for each image, Breakdance? And then Breakdance laughs back at you because you can. You do that by hovering over the images, and you will see there's a little pencil at the beginning, and that's where you edit each of these individually. So if I go to the first one, click on it, and you see I can choose first of all whether it's an image or a video. I can change the image here. I can add a caption here, and here I can add the custom URL. How amazing. Yes, I know. That's just amazing that they've thought of this and it's there from the beginning. And then you also have the option to go for the media file if you wanted to. The Lightbox is good, or if you didn't want the Lightbox, you just wanted a standard little bit of images there on your site, you go for none. So we can leave it on the Lightbox. The other feature that I mentioned to you is the multiple. Let's select multiple, and what you are creating here is a filterable gallery with many galleries. So let's bring in our first gallery, and we give it a title. I'll call this Gallery 1. Our add media, and let's select 4 images here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Choose. And I'll collapse this. Add gallery, and I'll call this one 2. Add media. Let's go for the next 4. Choose. And then one more gallery. We call this one 3rd. And I love how quickly it updates on the canvas. Add media. I keep loving a lot of things this morning. Sunday is nice. And then say choose. What else? We can add an icon. So let's see how it works. I'm just going to select the first icon I see. So it adds a little icon in front of the label. Let's do it for the rest so they don't feel excluded. Everybody's included. And then go to 3rd. Alrighty. And there you go. And even on the canvas, you can select the labels and see how quickly they change. And you'll see now if we go and test it on the front end, it's really super fast. Down below, let's close out the items. We have a filter bar, which you can edit. You have here, what is that all filter? If I select that, you also have the option for all. I love the all. You can have a label for it. Again, I just need to tell you, there are many tab-like elements on the market from so many developers, and they don't even give you the option to change the label of the all. But I really don't know what to put here. Let's call it library just to change it. Then you have your link. You have the same controls over here. You have image size. I leave it on large. And then you can also activate lazy load. And these features are also there for the single. If you go over to layout, same options that you have here. If you wanted to change the aspect ratio, you want to put them in masonry, and justified, you know, is not going to work at this moment. I'll put it back on 1:1. Let's save Control S, Command S, and see if this is everything we had dreamt it would be. Reload the page. And scroll down. Let's take this MacBook Air and put that in focus mode. So we have the full library. Click on 1, click on 2, click on 3rd, should be 3. Wow, that was quick. That is really super fast. Very much impressed. Look at that amazing gallery we created, Gary. One thing I did think of here, which you have to be aware of, remember, hashtag mobile first. Let's go to responsive mode and go have a look at the mobile, and you're going to see that we're going to run into problems with our tabs over here. I wonder if that is scrollable. Doesn't look like it. So let's go and see if we can do something for this in responsive mode. So at its core, I didn't need to change anything for responsive design. I didn't need to go into tablet settings, and I didn't need to go into mobile settings. But for our tags up here, it seems we're running into a little bit of a challenge. So I'll keep it here on the multiple gallery, then select up here phone portrait, and let's see if we have any control to reduce the spacing or even make this stacked. Go back to layout, I guess. What do we have here? Filter bar. There we go, Bobby. Position. Ooh, I totally missed this. So this opens up under design once you bring in the multiple gallery. Getting excited. Left. Let's see what it does. Center. Okay. So this, first of all, isn't a responsive control. So let's just go back to desktop and see what it does. Let's walk it through. Left. Okay. It's pure alignment. I love how we alternate between words like position and alignment. I think alignment is probably text, and position is an entire group of text. Space between, and I don't see that this is responsive. Yeah, that's a huge pity, because this is where I would think it would need to be responsive. But let's see if there's any other options for responsive. Then you have the style for tabs, pills. Ooh, okay, so it's a highlight and a bar. Ooh, I actually like the bar very much. Do I? Yes. Tabs, and then you have a separator over here. Color, let's give it a color, purple. And width, give it 1 pixel. Separator is this line at the bottom. I figured that one out. I'll remove it. Text, background, underline, padding, icon, responsiveness. Responsive. What is responsive? Show as drop down and show affordance. Wow, I'm learning big new English words. Now, drop down, I knew. Aha, okay. Drop down visible at, wow, phone portrait. Ooh, dive. There we go again. But it's there, and as long as it's there, you put a smile on my face. And then we have drop-down styles. It just keeps getting better. Drop-down styles, border padding, and typography. Okay, so it's actually drop-down styling. You can style that out. So let's save it and then go view it on the front end, because we're giving a lot of credit for something we haven't even tested yet, but we are interested only in the mobile device. Ooh, I love it. Look at that. Let's just scroll down. Library. 1, let's see if it filters nicely. 2, it does filter nicely. 3rd. Hey, really, Louis, guys, this is spectacular. And I think, I just don't know what to say. This is done properly. Properly, that's the word. I want to have a look at, we had responsive and we had put it on as show as drop down, show affordance. Let's select that. And I have no idea. There's a color. Let's put it on affordance. So what is that? I see there's a little purple there, and that is next to responsive. Curious. Save. Let's go have a look at affordance. And after that, let's go search the meaning of affordance. So this is a masterclass. We're learning some new words as well. Affordance. It's affordance. Show affordance. Just a little purple thingy. Well, I put the color purple on the right. Curious. Affordance definition. What does bling tell us? The quality or property of an object that defines its possible uses or makes clear how it can or should be used. Affordance is what the environment offers the individual. Okay, Louis, guys, please help me. What is affordance? Drop the explanation in the comments below. But really, I can go ahead and remove affordance here from responsive, because currently I'm not entirely sure what it does, but I love this drop down and I'll keep it on my phone. Wow, what an amazing feature. Save it. And then one thing I will show you now, which I forgot to do in the previous tutorial, and that is a little bit of animation. I will animate this entire section. Select the section again, and animation you're going to find under settings. Here at the bottom, select animation. You have scrolling animation, entrance, and sticky. We go to animation type, and I will select slide up. You have all the usual suspects down here, and then you have a duration, a delay, and then under advanced, you can have an offset, animate only once, which I do like, and then you have your Bezier curves, ease in, ease out. Let's say power in 3, and you can see how it animates in there, and disable at phone landscape or even tablet, but I'll just put it on phone portrait at this moment because phone landscape doesn't work. So let's save that and then review what we've done. And I know this tutorial is running over 30 minutes, but we could have made this section in 5 minutes. Really, that's how simple it is. So let's just scroll to the top, and as we scroll down, you will see how it animates in. And note on the right, for my phone, there's no animation. It's there. The reason I would, most cases, remove animation on a phone is because of the limitation of the screen size. We tend to scroll very, very quickly on a device. And if your animation is too slow, people will miss the information. So being able to disable it on this device, super duper helpful. And then you have it here on your bigger displays. Really nice feature. That display only once. As I scroll up or down, you will see it animates, and then I go up again and I go down, it animates again. Most cases, you only want this kind of section to animate once, and that's what that function was about. You go back to entrance animation, advanced, and then you say here, animate only once. Thank you again for the support. Very little small channel here. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of the week. From me, JP. See you in the next video.